Good morning and welcome back to Cold Waters, and to today's video, which is all around HMS Superb S109. Superb is a Swiftsure-class Royal Navy attack boat, and I'm going to be playing through a 2004 campaign that's a mod. I'll put a link to the campaign in the description below. We've tweaked, I have tweaked a few things with this, and I guess I'll be talking about this during the video or videos, depending on how successful today's trips are. But I'm going to add an element of logistics into this, because in 2004 was an interesting year for the British, because the Tigerfish was finally retired and Spearfish became the submarine heavy torpedo of choice. But this is Britain, and they built something like, well, we don't know how many they built, but let's estimate they built 500. And let's suppose that they all work. The British started building Spearfish, or constructing Spearfish, in 1988. It's a long time for a torpedo to be maintained sitting on a shelf, right? And they had something like 2,000 Tigerfish. So as this war progresses, we're going to be getting resupplies of both Spearfish and Tigerfish, and I'm not likely to show the little spreadsheet that I'm using on there, using to track this in the game, but if there's demand, I will. Then we can talk about the Tomahawks and about the harpoon weapons that we've also got. But before any of that, let's jump into this campaign. Okay. Terrorists attack Russia and 2 airliners are destroyed. Relationships with Russia have soured after 89 passengers died today when 2 airliners exploded after flying out of, I can't begin to pronounce that international airport near Moscow. The explosions were caused by suicide bombers, reportedly female, from Chechnya. Yeah, the Russians are pretty brutal in Chechnya. Okay, so Russian Federation has increased tempo of operations against Ukraine and Chechen separatists, right? Police were called out. Okay. Some members of the Russian government have made claims that terrorists were funded by the United States. Clearly the US denies this. Well, we're in Britain in this game, so nothing to do with us. Although we are America's biggest aircraft carrier, according to one Russian general. Let's see, is the war in Iraq truly won? So this is some observation about President Bush. Is that the original George W. Bush? Either way. Okay, so tensions between Russia and the US are continuing to increase. Russia was vocal in opposing the war. In March 2003, Russian President Vladimir Putin publicly criticized it and called it the most serious crisis the world had faced since the Cold War. I wonder if the Ukraine situation can trump that today. He told the Duma, adding the fighting would be fierce and drawn out. Okay. Alright, so there we go. Russia protests NATO's expanding. Bulgaria, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Romania, Slovakia, and Slovenia. Okay. Yeah, so Russia thinks that the US is provoking it. Okay. What have we got here? Russian down a civilian airliner. Russian Air Force shot down a Lufthansa Airlines flight outside Moscow. Russia claimed the aeroplane even. Don't like word plane, something else, has been hijacked by Ukrainian terrorists. We blame the US for this. Oh, okay. Putin reckons, as he's repeatedly said, there's no such thing as our terrorists and someone else's. Can't differentiate between them, yada yada yada. Okay, alright Putin, cool story, bro. What do we got next? Russian army and Spetsnaz deployed in Ukraine. Yeah, this is not going to end well. And this cost conflict has, one way or another, rumbled on for 18 years. Okay. Right. The military deployments will continue until the threat of terrorism is eradicated. We did not interfere, and your war on terror did not interfere in ours. And that seems like a fair point. But that's a little bit like saying the beatings will continue until morale improves. Yeah, I don't have a particularly favorable opinion of Russian government right now. Kremlin's bombed. 23 dead, 32 wounded. Let's see. Excuse me, big yawn. Russia blamed Poland. Poland said it wasn't me in their forerunner to Shaggy song. And it strained things between the US and Russia. And years of terse anti-Russian rhetoric and continued ideology between President George W. Bush Jr. and British Prime Minister Tony Blair. Oh, sorry. Did I do that out loud? The expansion of NATO has caused fear. Oh, okay. The Russians fear NATO? I wonder what they're going to do now. Russia invades Poland and the Baltic states and war is declared. Okay. And they reckon that because NATO hasn't kind of relaxed quite a bit, what could possibly go wrong? Well, they're going to find out, but so are the Brits, because a chronically underfunded Royal Navy over the decades is going to cause me some logistic issues in this game. At least I hope it will. I'm trying to set it up so that it will do that. Oh, yeah, first naval engagement. NATO loses 2 ships in the battle. Okay. Alright. So, Stanav Folat, the Standing Naval Force Atlantic, was engaged by a Russian Kirov-class battlecruiser, Peter the Great, and they're escorting warships. I think we'll be tackling some Kirovs in this game. A NATO task force reported heavy losses, including a German frigate being sunk and the Royal Netherlands Navy frigate HNLMS Tromp. That's an awesome name for a warship, the Tromp. Russian losses reported as minor. Yeah, if it was a surprise attack, that might make sense. Russian shipborne air defense systems were reported as surprisingly effective. Okay. Stanav Folant, I don't know quite how that's pronounced or meant to be pronounced or designed to be pronounced. It's typically 4 to 6 destroyers or frigates organized between Canada, the Germans, the Dutch, and the US, and also typically Italian, Belgium, Denmark, Norway, Poland, Portugal, and Spanish contribute warships too. So that's not good. I can see where this is going. Right, and here's our first mission. So we're in HMS Superb, Sierra 109 or S109, and our mission is not very exciting. We're to tackle some replenishment tankers and tenders. Oh, okay. Well, I guess the American boys get all the charming missions and all the glory. We'll just go ahead and hunt in the way that we do. Right, our objective is to locate and sink enemy replenishment tankers. Sink any nearby submarines if possible. Yeah, if it moves and has a sickle on it, I'm going to have it. Caveat, if I can. Now, I'm not going to change the loadout. I've set it up with the default on purpose, but I'll just go ahead and show that. So we have a total of 10 spearfish, 4 tigerfish, and 4 harpoons. Now notice that the spearfish take 40 minutes each to reload, and the tigerfish take 20 minutes. Here is because the spearfish use a chemical propellant and the tigerfish are electric. So I'm supposing you've got to be a bit more careful with the spearfish. Very effective weapon. Also note there are no Mosses. Moss was removed from service in the US Navy in the mid-1990s, and we Brits, we don't need that sort of nonsense here. We'll just use our charm. Now I'm going to configure things a little bit. Let's, I think I'm going to get a harpoon loaded and a tigerfish. So tigerfish is an interesting weapon. It's very slow, but it's also quiet. And if you're trying to sneak up with someone with a surprise attack and you've not quite got a perfect baffles aspect shot, the tigerfish can be very, very useful. This particular version, this is a mod 2 enhanced ability, has a bigger warhead than the other ones too, and that also helps. Right, let's head to the Russian coast. could possibly go wrong? Okay. Boat seems very slow, but there we go. I don't think it is. It's just the scale of the map. I spent a lot of time playing in the South China Sea. So there's not much going on in terms of activity. And we're mid-December 2004. So really not much at all. SOSUS is still operational. That's useful. Now, typically, the Russian coast here is quite close to Murmansk. Wow, I just got bounced. Okay, well, this isn't good. I got bounced by a target. I got intercepted, it looks like, and I'm still doing 20 knots at 600 feet. So my priority here is to get my speed down and go into ultra quiet as quickly as we can. Right, let's hit it.
On sonar, lost
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
back emergency, maneuvering eye.
Okay.
Make turns for 5 knots, maneuvering eye.
Right, we only have one contact
Come
so
left
far.
to 160, helm eye.
I don't know if it's submerged or not. Let's take a listen. It's probably a surface one.
Making turns for 5 knots.
We're not quite in hostile water yet. I think it's surface. But we're close enough. I wonder if that's a Kara. I think it is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. It has active sonar.
On sonar, Sierra 1 is classified as come left to 121, helm eye.
It is really close to detecting me. On the sonar computer, it had 9 decibels on active, so I'm going to point my nose right towards it. And here's the reason why I'm doing that. Let's switch to the view of my boat. And so we were originally more or less this aspect to it, so quite a lot of submarine giving it a potential sonar bounce back. And I want to change it so it's more like this. Now it'll be a bit like this because we're top down, but that is a much bigger return than this. And we can see we're at 5 decibels now. MF active, medium frequency active sonar returns just 5 decibels. That's going to help. It's going to help avoid being detected at this range. Now against this, my towed array now doesn't detect the enemy warship, and that's, well, it's a little unfortunate. He can't hear me and he's not getting a return, and that's quite important. Now I'm tempted to sneak off a tigerfish at this distance, but I'm not going to. In fact, I'm actually going to
come right to 124, helm eye.
lead the target a little bit. It looks like there's other targets out there, we just can't detect them yet. And let's accelerate time and see what happens.
Con, helm, steady course.
So they look like they're moving more west. Okay, the active returns are coming up.
Come right to 133, helm eye. Con, helm, come right to 142, helm eye.
Alright, what's the Kara? Okay, I'm 8,000 yards away, so it's got older torpedoes and a 6,000 yard rocket launched depth charges, but SSN-14 is troublesome. Yeah, it's a standoff UGMT homing torpedo. That is not good news.
Steady course.
Now I think I can sneak off a tigerfish and be quite effective here, but I think what I really want to do, so the wire might break, is to go ahead and launch the tigerfish and then dogleg it round. So it shouldn't hear this, but watch this space.
Shoot tube 5. Aye, sir.
Okay, the wire didn't break, so we're immediately going to divert that to go northeast. I'm not going to aggressively turn away from it, although I think it's just increased its speed. Its active returns now -8 decibels. Let's go ahead and just look at the... Oh, that's bad. Yeah, it's firing at me. Okay. That's really bad.
Come left to. Make turns for.
Right, we'll switch back to that view in just a second.
Knots, maneuvering eye.
So, that is an anti-submarine torpedo carried on a missile heading towards me. I bet there's a warship. Two targets at least.
5 knots.
That's the second one. Okay, so there's just 2 heading my way, which is useful. Alright, let's go back to here. I am close to the bottom of the... Okay, this is even worse news. What I'm doing now is I'm
700 feet.
trying to notch. I'm actually close to the bottom.
Con, helm, steady course.
That's interesting. Very interesting. Why? Okay. What I was doing was I was notching. In other words, I was trying to run my submarine perpendicular to the target. The idea here is that, he's going to get a bigger return on me. He's 3 decibels is not right now, but it puts
700 feet.
Puts a bit of distance between me and the incoming, or hopefully the incoming torpedo. See, they have a better idea where I am. So there's a target probably in a straight line back here, back sort of south-southeast of the Kara. That is has detected my launch. I bet you it's a dedicated anti-submarine warfare vessel. Let's go ahead and run the spearfish towards the Kara. Like so. I'm going to see if we can use this circling torpedo as a bit of a distraction. Let me see. It should detect the vessel if I make the spearfish active. Spearfish has got a smallish warhead, but it may be capable of taking down or causing a lot of damage to the Kara. Right, let's make it active.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
There you go. It's gone. It's detected it immediately. Going to manually steer it on. The Kara now knows where I am. It's got 13 decibel return. I'm not gonna change my course. I'm just gonna... I really want to bait it. I'm 5,000 yards away, so let's view the Kara. Angle dangle here. I'm surprised he's not firing at me, or he's preparing to fire at me. He's got a
sonar, noisemaker, bearing 162.
He's got a helo on deck, so I'm supposing that there's at least one out there. For the sake of it, let's go ahead and push F4. There's one. Just one. Okay. They're not the end of the world, and I'm manually steering my torpedo to chase down the Kara. Spearfish is a very fast weapon. It's 80 knots.
Con sonar, noisemaker, bearing 169.
So I'm pretty confident we can get this or hit this guy. It's just whether we sink him. Okay, let's go ahead and let the torpedo guide itself. Please guide itself. Come on. Come on. Might manually end up hitting this then. There we go. Alright, I damaged him, but he's not sinking. Let's go back to me. Okay, quick check. So, he's damaged and he's slowing down a little bit, but doesn't necessarily mean he's out of the fight. He's turned right back towards me. See, this is begging for a tigerfish. The tigerfish is a much slower weapon, 36 knots, but he's slowed right down and has a bigger warhead too. I may not need to though. He may end up sinking without any additional assistance. So we're going to run east-northeast. And let's see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording, and I'll be right back when there's something more interesting going on. Well, she's disabled, but I don't know if she's still combat capable. I'm going to suppose not. This is the Kara, by the way. So, in the real world, a period of time has passed. I have some coffee. I actually have a snack, because this might take a while, and some water and everything else. Great. But yeah... the Kara seems to be disabled. Let's jump.
Helm, steady course.
Let's jump back to where I am. Go back to here. So I switched back to my boat because I don't always like to hear the sound of surf. So right now, I'm going to give the captain time to get the crew off, but there's something else to the south. I just don't know. Maybe it might be south of the Kara. So I'm not sure what that is. I'm reducing my depth. In fact, let's get myself
Ring
down
ship for ultra quiet.
to 5 knots. Because I want to use the towed array.
Con sonar, new contact bearing 201. Designated Sierra 2.
And that's probably, yeah, that's probably just about kicked in.
Con sonar, new contact bearing
Ooh,
190. Designated Sierra 3.
So you need 200 feet under your boat to be able to use the towed array, and so that we've reached the 200 feet point, give or take. It was something like 195 feet. So let's see, what do we have here? What do we think we have? What is Sierra 3? This might be our primary target. Because it's not emitting sonar, it might be a submarine. Know if it's a submarine. Alright, we'll come back to that in a second. Sierra 2 is certainly emitting sonar, active sonar. So that's a warship, right? Is that another Kara? Okay. I mean, fine.
Con sonar, Sierra 2 is classified as escort.
What's it used for? Yeah, 2 of these. I'm supposing there are more ships. I mean, is it an escort? Well, maybe. Let's take a look at Sierra 3. So this hopefully is my primary target. No, I don't know that it is. Looks like it's just a merchant vessel. Looks like Sierra 1 may be back on the move. They might have shored things up. Okay. Yeah, I think it's just I think it's a merchant. Well, I got the feeling there's a little bit more here than meets the eye, or that I don't know what else is out there right now. So I think, for fear of having another engagement, and I think I want to sink.
Con sonar, Sierra 3 is classified as merchant.
I want to sink Sierra 1. She's not actually moving. I thought she was. So it really does have Tigerfish sort of set up for this. It has a big warhead, and I can fire it off. Let me go ahead and prepare that. They're gonna hear it, but it's okay because there's not much I can do about it. So I'm gonna launch this. To go active just sort of northeast of Sierra 1. And if the wire doesn't break, I'll dogleg it round. Oh, somebody got a good return on me. Okay.
Con fire control, we've lost
And
the
we
wire.
lost the wire. Okay, great. That's not good. That means that someone has detected me. I'm going to go ahead and I think I want to get something out to Sierra 2. Let's just check if there's anything coming on the way. A bit of a wheeze this, but let's just give it a go. So let's push F3. Yeah, there is. Okay. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm going to go ahead and head west at
Come
best
right
speed.
to 270. Helm
It'll
I.
make a ton of noise, but that's okay.
Turns for 30 knots. Maneuvering I.
Let's see. Is there just... Yeah, there's the crippled car. Is there just one? Yeah, there is. This is my Tigerfish. Alright. Well, it's about to get interesting.
Sonar lost contact. Sierra 3. Last bearing 197. Contact faded.
I reload this? I guess I didn't. Okay. Go. Okay, so...
Con sonar lost contact. Con sonar. Torpedo in the water. Torpedo in the water. Bearing 212.
Okay. It's coming right at me. And I'm going to have to decoy this.
Con, knuckle form.
Oh, maybe not.
Passing 500 feet.
So the nice thing about the Swiftsure is this pump jet means it doesn't cavitate. below or above about 300 feet. And that is
Con, knuckle formed.
it's great because if I have to rise to the surface to try and defeat a torpedo, which I may end up having to do, I don't cavitate until I'm pretty shallow. Now, that all said,
Con, knuckle formed.
this should be straightforward to counter and evade. I'm just going to have to knuckle it away quite a bit, which, it's fine. I still have all my complement of decoys, but I really want to move towards the enemy. So let's go ahead and swing more to port. We'll knuckle around in just a second. It detects me. There we go. Crew reckon it's got a lock on me, so
Con, knuckle formed.
have a knuckle. Interesting. This one just dropped dead ahead of me.
Sonar. Torpedo in the water. Torpedo in the water. Bearing 2, 2, 3.
That's just great. Okay, well, we might be able to do something about this. Let's give it another knuckle.
Con, knuckle formed.
Okay, so ballast up full. Have a noisemaker, and
Con, knuckle formed.
this thing might turn back towards me and cause me a lot of consternation. Something's turning towards me. Let's dive planes up 5 degrees. Yep. Oh boy.
Con, knuckle formed.
The knuckle may have done its job.
Passing 400 feet.
They're not very smart, thank goodness. And this is what I mean by doesn't cavitate at sort of 360 feet. That's very useful.
Con, knuckle formed.
Ooh, that was very close.
Con, knuckle formed.
This is not good. Okay, I need to swing by, try another depth trick. Okay, let's get another knuckle, see if this
Con,
works.
knuckle formed.
It did, but
Con, knuckle formed.
it's right on me. Okay. Benefit of having the external view is that you can see the relative height of it.
Con, knuckle formed.
I really didn't need to knuckle right there. I think now I'm in trouble. Still less deep, which helps.
Con,
But
knuckle formed. Passing 400 feet.
so changing your ballast can be a very, very useful trick. It can stop the enemy from
Con, knuckle formed.
it gets real close but doesn't quite connect. I don't know if it would work in real life because torpedoes have a proximity sensor. But
Passing
thankfully
400
this
feet.
isn't real life. Right, let's dive for the deck.
Passing 500 feet.
That's an aviation term, isn't it?
Con, sonar. Torpedo in the water. Torpedo in the water. Bearing 3, 2, 1.
That did not work.
Con, sonar. Noisemaker. Bearing 2, 2, 2.
Con, knuckle formed.
Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is manage my depth. So avoid
Con, knuckle formed.
surfacing whilst using the dive planes to
Con,
basically
sonar. Noisemaker. Bearing 2, 2, 2.
give me rapid changes of depth, but use the ballast to give me that sort of steady rise or fall. And the ballast works very well in Swiftsure.
Con, knuckle formed.
So what's happening here is, of course, we're actually climbing quite quickly.
Passing 500 feet.
Go ahead and give me 10 degrees nose down.
Con, knuckle formed.
Another knuckle.
Passing 500 feet. Con, knuckle formed.
I'm not convinced that heading towards the enemy is the smartest of ideas, but I really don't like... Is there anything out there that I can't detect right now?
Formed.
I don't really want to get to periscope depth because that's not what there's air assets out there. That's not good.
Passing 500 feet. Passing 500 feet. Con, knuckle formed.
I knuckled too early. Which is probably what she said. Because she was confused, obviously, as to what that meant. Okay. One of them blew up. Great.
Con, knuckle formed.
That's good. And we're still... So we got our nose pointing down. And we are increasing our depth. And when I relax the...
Passing 600 feet.
the dive planes...
Con, knuckle formed.
What's going to happen is we're going to start rising pretty effectively. It's quite an effective technique if you've got the space to be able to make this work. And the depth, that said, because
Con, knuckle
I've got
formed.
about 100 feet left to flatten my descent. Okay, now we're losing depth.
Con, knuckle formed.
Seabed's rising a little bit, so... Coming up fairly quickly now, which is good.
Passing 700 feet. Con, knuckle formed.
Let's increase my depth slightly. Okay, one more blew up. It's a shame that that doesn't disrupt the other one, but hey,
Con, knuckle
I
formed.
see it might have done. Okay, so pretty... I can switch to this view. Oh, that's it. Very interesting.
Con, knuckle formed.
I wonder if we took a chunk out of this guy. I strongly suspect that this torpedo will not engage with a surface contact, so I'm not even gonna try. But interesting if it could. Yeah, he's still combat capable. He's still using his active sonar.
Con, knuckle formed.
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 1, last bearing 239. Contact breaking up.
Well, Sierra 2 is
Passing 700 feet.
Con sonar lost contact.
Passing 700 feet.
it's currently hidden.
Con, knuckle formed.
Angle around again. Like to this thing to blow up anytime soon would be good. I think he's firing rockets at me. Yes, he is. I switched to this view. There's not much I can do if
Con, knuckle formed.
he's got exactly where I am, which he probably has. Okay. Oh, that's awful close.
Con, knuckle formed.
There's a lot of them. I need to...
Passing 600 feet.
So there's not much you can do to avoid these things other than change your depth and heading as quickly as you can. But at least you can hear him fire them, which is nice.
Con, knuckle
I
formed.
mean, like now. I'm not able to watch this as I'm... Ooh,
Con, knuckle formed.
that's really bad.
Passing 500 feet.
Okay, actually it looks like we took care of the torpedo blew up as well. Okay, switch back to map view, right. Let's go ahead and angle around. Let's reduce my speed to 20 knots. I'm going to give him one of these spearfish. I like the bigger warhead on them.
Passing 400 feet.
Once we detect him...
Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 2, bearing 150.
I changed my mind.
Shoot tube 5. Aye, sir.
Have one of these.
Con, fire control. We've lost the wire.
He's firing again. Okay. Switch back to this view. Oh.
Passing 500 feet.
It's a really uncomfortable feeling. I'm going to crank it up to flying
Make
speed.
turns for 30 knots. Maneuvering aye.
I thought its range was 6,000 yards for the rocket-powered...
Passing 600 feet.
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 2. Last bearing 1.
Con, knuckle formed.
yeah, I thought its rocket...
Torpedo room, tube 3 ready.
Well, it's rocket-powered depth charges at a range of 6,000, but I guess they may be
Con sonar
conservative.
noisemaker bearing 140.
Then again, he's not fired again, so hopefully I'm okay.
Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 2 bearing 138.
Yeah, 6,000 yards. Okay. Now, what's SSN 14's minimum? Doesn't say. That has a minimum range as well, and of course the bad thing there
Con
is
sonar noisemaker bearing 135.
he's heading away from me, I'm heading away from him. He's close to my minimum range for harpoon, which is tempting to give him one of those, but I don't think it's going to be effective, even right up against his Jaxie. He's going to have close-in weapons. Well, to be fair, what's the worst that happens, right?
Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 2 bearing 1.
Make depth 200 feet. Dive aye. Passing 600 feet.
Might give him one of these.
Con, knuckle formed. Passing 500 feet.
It says he's 4,000 yards away. I don't know whether I believe that.
Passing 400 feet.
Actually, I can see. So, what was his range? 1, 2. Oh,
Passing
okay.
300 feet.
I guess he is
Con
then.
sonar, we are cavitating.
Passing.
Con sonar, no longer cavitating.
Alright, we're going to run away. Okay. I think he's firing. Yep, he is.
Flooding in the engine room.
Oh. Bad flappage.
Con, knuckle formed.
And you got the pumps.
Damage control parties. Lay to the engine room.
Alright, it's not terrible. 8% hull damage estimated by the crew. Bit of a bruise there, but alright. Could be worse. You are definitely getting a harpoon now, Sunshine. And probably another spearfish.
Con sonar, torpedo in the water, torpedo in the water, bearing 089.
Well, at least I could move away from him this time, right? Okay, so it is 750 yards aft of me. And of course he's still firing, because why wouldn't he? Still firing his depth charges. Now my minimum range is I think 8,000 yards, which means that he is able to fire at me and I can't fire at him with a harpoon.
Con, knuckle formed.
Wonder if
Passing
he's
500 feet.
Wonder if he's taken the spearfish
Pumps
hit.
have been repaired.
Thank you, damage control. Not fired for a time, so
Con, knuckle formed.
does this mean I'm out of range? Or he's lost me, or he's busy dealing with a spearfish? I can't tell. I don't see any noisemakers either. Though I'm traveling at speed, so my microphones are picking up the sound of water rushing over them. Okay.
Con, knuckle formed.
I've read that people think that the depth charges are a little overpowered in this game. I'm not sure whether that's a fair assessment or not. I've never been in a submarine that's been depth charged. But I will say this, they can be very damaging. But then again, of course they would be.
Con, knuckle formed.
If you're going to go to the effort of using rocket-powered depth charges, you want to make sure that they cause sufficient damage to make it worth your while. Otherwise, why would you bother? And all the while I'm moving away from the Kara, so that's good. That, as I've just shown, I'm now in range of his SSN-14s.
Con, knuckle formed.
Which I think are more lethal than my harpoons will be against him. But I can do both. I can harpoon him and spearfish him. That's not a bad plan, I don't think. So I'm now turning towards him, which is bad. But, I got a torpedo on me, so...
Con, knuckle formed.
Continue my right-hand turn. Hope that the thing doesn't aim towards me, so we'll drop our depth, or increase our depth, and yeah, he did. He did turn towards me, that's bad. I think he's turning right at me.
600 feet.
Just given the enemy boat a good flank shot of me. It's a way to go, David. You saw it happening and you still did it.
Con, knuckle formed.
Con, sonar. Torpedo in the water. Torpedo in the water. Bearing 014.
It's another one, and he's depth charging me again. Okay, great.
Con, knuckle formed. Passing 600 feet.
That was close.
Passing 500 feet.
On both accounts. Close because the torpedo was right under my... I whistled, if you didn't catch that, and I'm being fired up again with rocket... Oh.
Con, knuckle formed.
Jeez.
Con, knuckle formed.
Get me out of here. Now, if you had claustrophobia, you probably wouldn't be in the submarine service. But if you were, that's not going to be a nice experience for you being depth charged.
Con, knuckle formed.
Probably goes without saying though now. Make sure we're not leaking anywhere, okay. If you suffer some damage in the game, you do occasionally just pick up leaks. It's never a good thing. Because usually you only pick up a leak when you're in the middle of an engagement and you don't always spot it. And you think, why am I sinking?
Con, knuckle formed.
Drop my depth again, I think. I don't trust this warship not to be depth charging me again, because he's got a very good idea of my location. He keeps pinging me actively.
500 feet.
So, switch back to that.
Con, knuckle formed.
We'll actually continue this turn. There he goes again.
Con, knuckle formed. Passing 500 feet. Passing 400 feet. Con, knuckle formed.
Con, sonar. Torpedo in the water. Torpedo in the
Another
water.
one?
Bearing 174.
Dang.
400 feet.
I must have really ticked him off. Well, I did sink his buddy. It might have something to do with it. Maybe. I mean, I don't know.
Passing 500 feet.
Noisemakers causing them some concern, but it won't last forever. Here we go. Here they come.
Con, knuckle formed.
We should consider giving him 2 harpoons. Maybe 3. Maybe 4.
Con, knuckle formed. Con, knuckle formed.
So I changed how quickly it takes to reload submarines, or the Swiftsure in particular, because it's not actually fun if you can reload
Con,
in
knuckle formed.
a minute. So now it takes a bit of time to reload. So I do still have torpedoes available.
Con, knuckle formed.
The Swiftsure-class boat has an interesting torpedo tube configuration. It's got 5. 2, I mean, it's not modeled. This is not an accurate representation, but it's got 2 midship on each side, so there's your 4. And then the other
Con,
one
knuckle formed.
is underneath. Now, it's not showing in this model, and that's okay. But it means that your 5th torpedo tube is not suitable for harpoon or cruise missile, but is suitable for torpedoes.
Con, knuckle formed.
I think I'm outside of his range for his rocket-powered depth charges, thank goodness, because they are causing me some grief.
Con, knuckle formed.
Switch back to map view, I think. Can we detect where he is? No. But we reckon he's maybe 8,000 yards away last time we checked.
Con, knuckle formed.
If he's sensible, he will have moved away from me. Although, well, not necessarily, actually. He's not a dedicated anti-submarine warfare unit,
Con, knuckle formed.
but he's certainly capable of defending himself. That's one down. The other one shouldn't be too much
Con,
longer.
knuckle formed.
Well, we may have 2 harpoons ready by that point. May do.
Con, knuckle formed.
Okay, come on. I'm bored of this. You can blow up now. Run out of fuel.
Con, knuckle formed.
There's a good chap. Getting at my depth to 300 feet, this in anticipation of popping up to 200, firing a harpoon and being done with it again. But I might
Passing 500 feet.
need to
Con, knuckle formed.
get a better fix on his location first. Although the harpoon's got a fairly broad sensor cone, it's not that broad. So,
Con, knuckle formed.
let's go ahead and turn south. Yep, it's right back on me again.
Passing 400 feet. Con, knuckle formed. Con, knuckle formed.
Okay, I'm almost at 350
Con,
foot.
knuckle formed.
I don't like how it's
Con, knuckle formed.
forcing me to approach this enemy cruiser. There we go. Okay. Alright, let's turn away as best we can.
Con, knuckle formed.
Very distinctive sound. Oh,
Con, knuckle formed.
they're close.
Passing
Very-
400 feet.
Very close.
Passing 400 feet.
Have a noisemaker.
Con, knuckle formed.
About to
Con
cavitate.
sonar, we are cavitating.
Con, knuckle formed.
Con sonar, no longer cavitating.
Okay. Hey, there we go.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
I may still be within
Con, knuckle formed.
range of. I almost certainly am within range of his rocket-powered depth charters. Okay, I'm getting distracted. Let's go ahead and do this.
Con sonar regained contact on.
That's
Sierra
what I
2,
needed.
Bearing 0.
Passing 200 feet.
Have one of these, butt face.
Con sonar regained contact on. Sierra 3, bearing 216.
Right. I don't know if we're
Con sonar, we are cavitating.
if this is going to work. So we'll see if we can watch this engagement.
Passing 200 feet.
Go ahead and get my depth to 400 and 550 before I would say. And
550 feet. Dive high.
let's watch the incoming. There goes his chaff. So he's definitely got close in weapon system.
Con sonar, no longer cavitating.
Oh dear. Oh, baby. I don't know what that was. I don't know if that was a warship or not. Well, I guess it wasn't.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Come right to 001. Helm I.
Okay, I'm gonna run north. He's coming towards me, I think, so I don't think that worked. Run north. I'm gonna give him a spearfish. Don't know his range. I just gonna have to do this because
Con sonar regained contact on. Sierra 3, bearing 21. Con maneuvering, making turns for 5 knots.
you can still see where I am. So
Make turns for 15 knots. Maneuvering I.
I'm gonna get out of here. I don't want to mess
Make
around with
turns
this.
for 30 knots. Maneuvering I.
So the spearfish has gone
sonar
active.
Lost contact. Sierra 3, last bearing 216. Contact faded.
I'm going to lose contact on him. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording for just a little bit. Spearfish has gone active, is heading towards him at 80 knots, and we'll see if this manages to do what it needs to do. So, I'll be back in a jiffy. Well, not long has passed, and the Kara is most definitely under threat from my torpedo. He's turning away. Let's go ahead and switch to the torpedo view. But he's not fired at me, which is interesting. There we
Con
have.
sonar, noisemaker bearing 109.
You've got 80 knots of offensive spearfish, British finest weaponry heading your way.
Con
And-
sonar, torpedo in the water, torpedo in the water, bearing 316.
Oh, well.
Knuckle formed.
I should have known that. Right, I'm gonna, I don't particularly want to delay this video even longer.
Con sonar, noisemaker. Con maneuvering.
We've
making
already
turns
done
for
this
30
for
knots.
several minutes, and it seems that
Con, knuckle formed.
they've resupplied a helicopter with more torpedoes. So that's good, because it keeps the game challenging. I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording, and if anything interesting
Con,
happens,
knuckle formed.
like if I strike the Kara or something similar, I should not have gotten so complacent. But I will resume recording, so I'll be back.
9, contact breaking up.
That was quick. Yeah, we just got him.
Knuckle formed.
Okay, so the spearfish seems to take him out, which is nice. All I've got to worry about now is being attacked by this bad guy, by the torpedo. So, I think you know the drill by now. I'm going to circle around
Knuckle formed.
like part of Ace Combat for the longest time, and eventually the torpedo will give up, hopefully. But right now, it's being very persistent.
Knuckle formed.
Okay. I'll be back when there's something more interesting going on. And of course my harpoon is still being loaded. So, yeah. Talk to you in a bit. Okay. After a protracted disengagement plan, we're now out of harm's way. So we just got the 2 warships. And nothing else. And to show for it, we've used a bit of ordnance. And yeah, I mean, we're still in one piece, so there is that. Found the harpoon, alerted the helicopter where I was, and of course it came to take care of me, but right now, I don't know where it is. Can't detect it, so, and hopefully it can't detect me, so I'm going to slink away from this this engagement. I'm going to head north. I might get a better feel for the Sierra 3, but I don't think that's my primary target. But you know what? I'll drop it. I'll climb above the layer, actually. Yeah, let's do that. Maybe that is a primary target of mine, and I can't imagine it is.
200 feet, dive by.
Let's be brave and accelerate time. Okay, here we go. He's a long distance away.
At 200 feet, dive by.
I don't really plan on tracking this guy or hunting this guy down. There's a helicopter in the area who now has nowhere to land. At least I hope not. So yeah, I'm gonna head out of here at north. Oh, something's just caused me to drop out of accelerate time. Let's take a look. I don't know what that was and why that would happen. So I'm going to call it for this video. I'm going to just head out of here, and we're going to not quite limp back. I mean, we took care of 2.
Depth 400 feet, dive by.
Took care of a couple of warships, but yeah, having to take my time to reload does make a big difference to how easy the game is to play. Okay, well, like I say, I'm going to go ahead and call it for this one. So hopefully you like what you saw. If you
dive at 400 feet, dive by.
And if you did, you know what to do. And if you thought it sucked, you also know what to do.
Con, torpedo room, tube 2 ready.
So thanks so much. I'll see you the next time. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.